Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a tag that I saw Allie Glines and Samantha March do. I did their original tag, which was favorite eyeshadow palettes in different categories, and then this is the part 2 of that tag. So I'll link the first one down below, as well as both of their channels, both of their videos. I just thought this was really fun. It's really nostalgic to like dig through all of my eyeshadow palettes and find the answers to all of these questions. With some of these, it was like an immediate, this is the answer. And then with others, I really had to think about it. So let's go ahead and get right into the first category. All right, the very first category is all-time favorite palette. This one was really hard because I have different palettes through different seasons. There are things that I like about certain palettes during certain seasons of my life, and then I don't like them later on, like maybe a super vibrant palette when I was in college or in my 20s, and then now that I'm a mom, like more neutral everyday palette would be my go-to. So I feel like an all-time favorite palette is really hard for me to decide. But when I think of a palette that I loved so much for so long, this is the one that came to mind. And with most of these, I just decided to go with what popped in my mind first, because otherwise I could overthink every single answer to every single one of those questions, because I'm really good at overthinking, and I would have never filmed this video. So the first one that came to mind, unfortunately, I believe it's discontinued, but I loved this. If you've been following me for a while, you know how much I loved it. And it's this ColourPop Grandot. I guess I should learn how to say the name of my favorite palette. But I love the packaging. It's this beautiful like floral gold navy packaging. I feel like I want to frame this and put it in my house. It's so beautiful. And then the colors in here are just incredible. They are super pigmented. They are so easy to blend. I think I remember talking about how you can't really mess it up. You can apply way too much and then you just blend, and it's perfectly smoked out. But it has just really beautiful neutral shades. I used these two all the time, as well as this one. This reminds me of like Naked in the Urban Decay, the original Urban Decay Naked palette. And then these really pretty like shimmery colors, as well as one glitter color for like a really vibrant look. And then some deepening shades. It's just a very neutral palette that doesn't look like you can do a whole lot with it, but surprisingly you can do so much with it. And the formula is just unbeatable. So this is the one that came to mind right away for my all-time favorite. But it's so hard to say my all-time favorite because, like I said, it changes throughout the seasons of my life. All right, next up is new favorite. And I have two answers for this. The first I've already talked about, so I don't want to rehash it, but I just included it in a favorites video, so it feels weird not to put it as a new favorite. But it's the Gimme Gold palette by Flower Beauty. I talked about this a lot in my January favorites video, so I will link that down below if you want to see this more in detail, but it is such a beautiful palette, and every time I open it I feel the need to put this shade right here in my inner corners, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It's just like the perfect brightening shade. Love it, love it. But again, I already talked about this in my favorites video, so I'm not gonna go on about it, but definitely a new find that I am loving. But another one that I wanted to mention, because this is a brand new favorite of mine, is the ColourPop Your Golden palette. I've hardly used this, but I already love it. It's got such a beautiful color story in here. ColourPop releases palettes like every other day, it seems like, and I see them, I'm like, oh, that looks pretty, that looks pretty, that looks pretty, but rarely is it like I need that, and that's how I felt when I saw this palette. I feel like this is going to be my go-to summer palette. You've got all of your like evening deep shades over here, and then you've got really beautiful, vibrant, colorful ones. Like this blue shade right here, I cannot wait to use this. I just feel so inspired when I look at this palette, and I've dipped into a few of the shades already and it did not disappoint. I love a good palette with a mix of neutrals and pops of color with a little bit of glitter, a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of matte, and this has everything, and I just can't wait to create a ton of different looks with this palette. And the first ColourPop palette purchase I've made in a while, I kind of took a breather because they release them so often, but this one made me re-inspired and re-fall in love. I feel like it's just unique, it's different, it's special, and highly, highly recommend. All right, next up is Keep for the Memories, and this is the first one that came to my mind. It's the e.l.f. Chipotle collaboration. It was just such a weird, unexpected collaboration that went super viral. Never in my wildest dreams did I think, you know, e.l.f. Cosmetics is probably going to do a collaboration with Chipotle. Like, that just never crossed my mind, and it was so surprising, but it worked somehow. And I had to keep this for the memories because it just looks like a burrito. It's got all the different colors that I get in my salad when I go to Chipotle. The formula of this palette is so good. I feel like this palette was kind of a turning point for me in 2021 with e.l.f., where I was like, what is going on with e.l.f.'s eyeshadow formula? Like, the bite size were great, but Their big palettes always seem to kind of miss the mark for me, and then I tried this one and I was like, wait a minute, e.l.f. is like really stepping their game up in every department. So I'm keeping it because it's both a really good eyeshadow formula with really cool colors, like this really bold green right here is super fun. But I'm also keeping it because what? e.l.f. and Chipotle, like who would have thought? All right, next up is underrated eyeshadow palettes. And I feel like everyone jumped on the Essence, the little mini Essence eyeshadow palettes so quickly. They're so popular, but those were not the first really great Essence eyeshadow palettes. I feel like these were just totally skipped over and they're really good. The Hello Berlin and the Ula Rio, these are really good eyeshadow palettes. They're super affordable. They come with a mirror and the pan sizes are really big. I love the colors in this one, specifically the Hello Berlin. They're kind of cheapy feeling. It's like a little magnetic closure, kind of a papery material. But the actual eyeshadow formula in here is really good. And for some reason, I never heard anyone talking about these. And I know I've mentioned these before as underrated eyeshadow palettes, but I'm saying it again because no one talks about these and they're super impressive. All right, next up is not a favorite but can't get rid of. Okay, so I love the Juvia's Place eyeshadow palettes. I think they are some of the best eyeshadows at an affordable price point, or just some of the best eyeshadows, period. But for some reason, this specific Juvia's Place eyeshadow palette is like a different formula from all the other ones. This is the Taupes palette. I have, I think, the Rose Gold, I have the Nubian, and another one, and they're all very similar. The formula of all those is very similar, and then this is like a different formula. It's not quite as pigmented as all the other ones, but I love the colors in here so much that I work with it. And I also like that on some days when I'm not wanting to do like a full eyeshadow look, that the mattes in here are so lightly pigmented that you can really go heavy-handed and not screw it up. I just can't get rid of it. I love the colors in here so much. The formula is not quite as good as the other ones, but I'm gonna hang on to it anyway. All right, next up is your favorite collab. And again, this is the first one that popped in my mind, and I can't think of a collab that I've liked more than this. It's the Catrice and Iman collaboration. It has a nice big mirror. I used this palette like crazy. It's pretty, I don't know if you can see, but it's pretty beat up, but there's a theme here. I know, I like neutral colors, I like neutral palettes. This one is so stunning. I feel like she's got like darker features, darker hair, and her coloring and mine are somewhat similar, so the colors she chose are really flattering on my skin tone. And you guys know how I am about a cohesive eyeshadow palette, and this one is got your brightening shade, your deepening shade, and your transition color, as well as some shimmers in here mixed in. This is one of those like beach vacation palettes that you just throw in your suitcase and you're good for the week for whatever type of eyeshadow look you're going for. Almost positive this is discontinued, but I loved it. Still love it. Won't be getting rid of that anytime soon. All right, 2021 favorite. Let me know in the comments if you already predicted what I'm about to say, because I'm pretty sure it's very obvious, but it's the Essence Out of the Wild eyeshadow palette. I'm obsessed with this eyeshadow palette. It is so beat up. I need to move on. I need to make more friends because I've just been stuck on this palette, but oh my gosh, it is so beautiful. The mattes, the shimmers, the colors in here, like this deep green is so beautiful when you use it as an eyeliner. This is one of my favorite shimmer shades I've ever used on my eyes. And then it has like the most perfect transition colors. I've raved about this so many times. It was in my 2021 best makeup video. I think I've probably put this in like 5 different videos, so I'm not gonna go on about it, but definite 2021 favorite. All right, next up is a palette I didn't expect to love. And this is kind of just a brand that I don't know why. I've had like a bad taste in my mouth with this brand for the longest time, but I decided to just get over it and try this product because it looked so beautiful. It's a relatively recent purchase, but I've been really liking it, even though I didn't expect to like it. I didn't necessarily want to like it. I don't know why, but I do. And it is the 9T Neutral Territory by Morphe. Again, a nice big mirror. And then the colors in here, it's the eyeshadow palette I'm wearing right now. The shimmers in here are so beautiful. I'm wearing a mixture of these two on my lid right now. And then a mixture of these two as my transition color, and then this one as my deepening shade. And then I actually used this as my liner. And I'm just really impressed by the price point and the quality of this palette. I'm gonna get over it with the Morphe thing. I don't know what it is, but this definitely makes me wanna buy more palettes from this same range. All right, next up is a palette that sparks joy. And this palette definitely does that, and I'm so sad that they're going out of business, because every single year I look forward to their holiday palette. They always are so amazing, but there was something about this 2021 palette that just blew the rest of them out of the water, and it was the Miss Claus The Lit List palette. I was so inspired. You guys know I'm not one to wear, based off of all the other choices, you can tell I'm not one to wear a ton of color. And I wore a ton of color over the holidays. Like for my Christmas Eve party, Christmas Day, I was wearing like red eyeshadow, green eyeshadow. This just inspired me so, so much. It sparks joy when I just look at it. I want to play. I think of Christmas. I think of happy, happy times. But lately it's not sparking as much joy because they're going out of business, and I am just so sad to think that next year I will not have a BH Cosmetics holiday palette to be excited about. So I'm gonna hold on to this one with a little bit of extra love because this may be the last one, and I think they saved the best for last because this is my all-time favorite BH Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. I look at it and I think of Christmas, so how could that not spark joy? The newest palette to my collection, this was actually sent to me. This is a little bit on the pricey side. They sent this to me because Sigma is coming to Target. They're now being sold at Target. It looks absolutely stunning, but it's definitely pricey. But it is the newest palette to my collection, so I wanted to show you guys how beautiful it is. It's got these like rose gold warm shades, and it comes with a dual-ended brush. I feel like the addition of this brush in here kind of makes the palette more worth it because their brushes are not cheap. And you're getting two different brushes here with this dual-ended one. But the pigment on these is ridiculous. The color range is beautiful. It definitely is more on the luxury side, but I will definitely be trying this out for like a special occasion or something because those rose tones are just calling my name. Let me know if you guys want to hear my thoughts on palettes that are even high-end or any makeup that's high-end. I do a lot of dupe videos where I share my opinions, but I do test out a lot of high-end products. I get some sent to me just because I can't speak to the quality of dupes or drugstore makeup if I don't know what's going on in the high-end as well. So definitely gonna be playing around with this. I'll let you know if I find any good dupes. But like I said, let me know if you want me to keep you posted on it, even though it is not drugstore. And then the last category is your first palette used in 2022. And mine was this one. This is the Essence Bronzed This Way eyeshadow palette. I feel like of all of the color options, this is one of my favorites. Again, who's surprised? I love like bronzy neutral palettes, and it's just a really good travel size. I have a little makeup case in my diaper bag, and that's where I keep this. So when we're trying to make it to a family event on time, when we're trying to go somewhere, I use my diaper bag makeup kit and just do my makeup in the car because trying to get a toddler and a baby out the door is hard enough that I just worry about my own makeup in the car, and that way I can chill, do it nice and slow, and not worry about rushing because I've got however long it's going to take us to get to the destination to do my makeup, and that's where this palette hangs out. So I hope you guys found this interesting. I always find these videos so interesting. I like hearing other people's favorites, not so favorites, and it's a fun way to talk about a bunch of different great eyeshadow palettes if you're in the market for one anyway. But I will have everything linked down in the description below. I do get a small commission when you purchase through those links. It definitely helps out my channel, helps keep things running around here. So I definitely appreciate when you guys use my links, but give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss a video, and I will see you guys in my next one.